Hi everyone, welcome to The Buzz with Ann Schreiber from Coldwell Banker Previews International out of Rancho Santa Fe. Today I'm here with Mr. Patrick Coleman, new head football coach for Del Norte High School. I had the great experience of getting to know Patrick and his beautiful wife Michelle last month, as they are one of the newest homeowners in Del Sur. Congratulations! Welcome to the community.
Thank you very much.
So I thought we would give everyone in our community a chance to get to know you, what to know about your history, and what to expect from the football season this year.
Awesome. Well, football's been around my family for about 3 generations. When my great-grandfather immigrated from Romania to America, they quickly fell in love with the game, and my grandfather played it at a very high level. He actually was in the NFL with the Detroit Lions, but decided at that time it was World War II, and so he decided that he was going to enlist and go fight the war. But I remember getting into some of his old military trunks, and he had letters from his buddies at the Detroit Lions talking about how much they missed him and his playing on the team. So my whole life, my earliest memories are football, but not just football as the game, the lessons from football. And one thing my grandfather taught me as I grew up through football was the hard work and the dedication, but mostly being selfless and being a part of a team and having to put a team before yourself and make decisions for the team. And how it took that whole organization to be successful. It wasn't a one-star type of deal. So those lessons that I learned in football, I know helped make me a success. And I got into coaching about 18 years ago. I actually owned a printing business. And I went to drop off some shirts for a coach. And he said, "Didn't you play Division I football?" And I said, "Yeah, a little bit." And he says, "Well, I need a coach. Do you know anything about cover 2?" And I said, "Yeah, I know a little bit." And the minute I kind of stepped across the track onto the field, I just knew that that's where my future was.
Wow.
So
how do you, I have to ask you, how do you a little bit play Division I football?
Well,
that means you play Division I football. That's a big deal.
I did kind of.
Yeah.
So I got recruited by SMU,
wow.
Which was a huge football program at that time in the 80s.
Yeah.
But the year that I graduated was the year of the recruiting violation. So my senior year, their football program was decimated. And so I went to Wisconsin and tried to walk on, ended up at a D3 school with an academic scholarship, and actually transferred out of football and played lacrosse the rest of my college career.
So sports has always been part of who you are.
Absolutely. All kinds of athletics. I played 4 sports in high school actually, and rotated through sports and just fitness and sports. And I really see that as part of my charge as a mentor and leader for youth. Is not just teaching them the team concepts, but also the fitness concepts with this going on so much these days, and trying to integrate that as something in their daily lives so that it becomes a positive habit in their lives.
You know, one thing you mentioned, actually, I think while we were at your home inspection, and I was asking you about football,
yes.
Was your commitment to safety. So that
yes.
sort of goes hand in hand with fitness. What can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. Well, interestingly enough, football is in a kind of a crossroads at the moment. And there was some media, of course, that we all know about with concussions and the brutality of the game. And the game has to change, and there's no doubt about that. In any aspect of life, I think that you have to evaluate and change. And football is just kind of encompassing that change now. Unfortunately, it's on the heels of safety issues, and is it good for kids, and are people that played the game permanently disabled? Unfortunately, there was one show that talked about the concussion syndrome, and at the end that doctor said, "My fear is that anybody who ever put on a helmet has CTE."
Oh.
And so she just makes this blanket statement where, if you think about it, every person that has put on a helmet, there's millions of us. And the whole country basically would probably be zombies if we all had some kind of brain injury. But the good part is it did bring it to light. And football was already changing. I've been teaching personally probably for 15 years, a whole different kind of football where your head is not involved in the tackle or the hit. And that is just kind of catching up now with the injury prevention and the concussion media. So we make sure now, of course, that all our players are always safe. And our number one priority is safety. But for me, what football teaches young men is it still teaches them to be tough, to play when you're injured or hurt a little bit. But now, thankfully as well, there's more studies coming out showing that it's not as catastrophic as initially thought by the doctors and the media. So hopefully we'll find a middle ground that we as coaches are teaching it differently. We're monitoring the situation. The medical field now knows how to treat the situation better. And hopefully that's a win-win for the sport and those involved in the sport.
Well, and all I got from you out of that conversation we had was just your commitment to safety. That was the one thing. If anybody would have asked me, I would have said, well, he seems very committed to safety. So that's obviously going to make a lot of parents and kids happy as well.
Yes, and even I've been coaching for 18 years. I'm a new father. So even before I was a father, I always treated my team as my kids. And I've always told the parents, your kids are my kids. And when I make a decision for your child, I make it as if I was making a decision for my child. But now that I am a father, that's just made that decision exponentially more thought out. And
I bet.
Now I really, really mean it when I say, your kids are my kids because they're all our sons.
Right.
So, and with the way that the game is changing, actually the numbers by sport, football is like third now. Girls soccer is having huge concussion issues, knees and ankles, and basketball. Of course, skateboarding and biking is up there.
Yeah.
So when people ask me, because I have a son, is your son going to play football? I say, well, first of all, if he wants to play football, of course. And I would definitely have him play football before I let him get on a skateboard. That's for sure.
Great. So I know you have some fundraising events coming up. You have a great support from your parent group. So why don't you tell us about your casino night coming up?
Well, one thing that's amazing about Del Norte and just Poway Unified in general, Poway Unified is the third district I've been in as an educator and a coach. And when I first came to Poway Unified, it really was what ideally I wanted education to be, but I didn't quite get from the other districts that I worked at. The expectations are extremely high. The professionalism is at the highest level for an educational environment, which unfortunately you would hope that an educational institution would have that, but many districts don't. So when I came to Poway, it truly did embody that professionalism, and our superintendent of our district meets the new employees each time for orientation, and he basically he articulates to us, we have hired you because you are the best. You will continue to be the best, or you may not be here.
Well, there you go.
But so I appreciate that, though, as an educator first, and somebody who wants to continue to get better each year and wants to be the best teacher and wants to be around the best environment. So it starts with our district is phenomenal. And luckily our school, I'm a little biased, but our school is the best in the best district. So we're really the pinnacle of the best. And then our support system here and the families and just the community, which is a huge reason why we wanted to become a part of the community, has so much positive energy and support. And the mentality that I see around Del Sur and 4S and our community is that it is a family, a village to raise the family. And everybody is very selfless, and we're all just focused on our kids, and we're focused on our neighborhood and making sure that that's the best for our families. So that's really what Michelle, my wife, and I, and my son Caden, that's what we've been striving to become a part of. And some people say it's kind of Peyton Place-like. You drive around and it's so clean and so polite and people working hard, but it's hardworking people who have had a vision to what they want their families to grow up in the environment of, and continue to support that vision and do what they can as families and individuals to move that forward. So my parent group and our Touchdown Club is right in line with all of those principles. And they literally allow me just to coach, and they do all the fundraising and the organization, and all the support and the hours that they put in is tremendous. So that's culminating in one of our big events this year is a casino night that we're having August 7th at the Ranch House. It is soon. It's coming up before you know it. At the Ranch House in Del Sur. And if you go to www.dnfootball.com, you can get all the information about the team, but you can also get information about that night. And that would be great for the community, whether you have kids in school now or not. I know most of my neighbors, our kids are going to be here in about 10 years or so, but to support the school and the program, and it'll be a really fun night. The parents have an amazing evening planned, live band, all the casino tables and raffles and silent auctions.
Outstanding.
It's going to be a phenomenal night. So.
Okay, so I know we're running out of time. I have one more question for you.
Yes.
The question probably everybody wants to know. So what can we expect this season out of the NIGHTHAWKS?
Well,
And I'm gonna be at a
you're gonna
game.
be-
I'm gonna
yeah,
learn all
you got
about football
sideline
this
passes.
season. I know.
So one thing that some people say is a downfall for me, but I'll never see it that way, is I'm an eternal optimist, and I am extremely positive. So for us, I say that we're going to be city champions because we play everybody in the city except for Poway. So RB, Westview, Mount Carmel, we're going to play those guys. We're going to beat them.
Great.
So I'm making my own city championship.
Perfect.
Then we're going to win our league, so we're going to be league champions. Then we're going to win CIF Division III, so we're going to be Division III champions. Then from there we play in a Southern California Regional Bowl game.
Oh, we're going big.
So we're going to be the Southern California Regional Bowl champions.
Okay.
And then after that we go to Carson to play in the state championship, which of course we will win.
You heard it
So-
first, right here with Patrick Coleman. Thank
Yeah,
you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
All right, join us again next month for The Buzz with Ann Schreiber Homes.